Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my review of what am I doing? Uh, 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. Um, this show never disappoints me. I'm gonna tell you what. I tell you what. Okay, this show is what every reality show should strive to be, which is perfection. Okay, we're gonna probably go in order of how they appeared, but who knows? Because sometimes I don't give a fuck. Okay. Let's start with old Darcy and Jesse. So we start right where we leave off. Cut it on a bias. This is where we started. Okay. Um, what they doing? They arguing. Um, Darcy say come in for to eat. He like no. They're about to eat. Her and her children. One of her children calls him in to eat. He does not eat. Um, he said, and I quote, he's here for the children, which is confusing because they're not your children. There is no point for you being here for the children. Like, fucking confused. I'm confuzzled. I'm really fucking confuzzled. Like you don't. I'm confused. America's confused. Okay. The producers are confused. Her children are confused. Her sister is confused. You're confused. And Darcy is confused. Okay? So, he come in, don't eat the food. Um, one of the daughters ask, "Why aren't you eating?" He's like, "I'm just here for you guys for the experience. These are not your children, bruh." Anyway, um, they they eat dessert. He's still not eating. Then they're going back and forth. Well, you didn't want to let me cut the steak. Well, honey, I know how my children like the steak. Blah 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 blah. And her oldest daughter, I think, is like, "Can y'all shut the fuck up? Y'all acting like y'all my age." And I guess Darcy was like, "Don't be saying that, but bitch, you are. You're acting like a child. You can't do this." And they just going back and forth. I'm like, Jesse, if you're not gonna eat, then go back outside. Go back outside and sit on the damn porch, okay? So Darcy is like, I'm gonna take the children back because I don't think that they should sleep here. We're not married, and I think they have school in the morning. So she takes the children back. Um, do you see what happens at night? If you do see what happens at night, I can't remember what happens at night. But the next morning, Jesse is frantic. Okay, he's like, "You threw a Louboutin. Okay, you threw it. You threw it. You tried to throw it in my eye. Okay, I would have had Louboutin in my eye." That's exactly what he said. He said, "I would have had Louboutin in my eye." And I was like, "Well, Jesse, you have to leave the situation. If you would have had Louboutin in your eye, Louboutin." So he's mad because she stepped on his shoes. I guess they was some, hard hitter shoes. You know what I mean? They was fancy. And then she was like, "You can step on my shoes here. Here are my $1,000 Louboutins." And then he said she tried to throw the Louboutin in his face. I mean, in his eye. And he's scared for his life. He just can't be around someone who would throw a Louboutin in someone's eye. He can't see himself being with this person. It's done. It's finito. Okay. So he's like, feel like we should have someone with us. I don't think that we should be together because she's crazy, you know. So he leaves. And then he comes back, which I should have known that he was gonna come back. But I thought that he was done. I thought that the Louboutin coming so close to his face, to his eye, him being so afraid for his life because he was, as he said, he was scared for his life. I wouldn't think that he would have come back, you know. Next, he said, this time it's a shoe, next time it could be glass, you know. So I don't understand why he put. Let's hope my camera will stay on this time. Okay, so, you know, next scene, we see Jesse and he's coming back. He says, I love Darcy. Darcy looks really pretty with her hair down. Darcy should start wearing her hair down and her eyebrows not to here, okay? Because the eyebrows shouldn't go here, okay? I know my eyebrows probably coming off right here, probably, but my eyebrows don't stop down here, okay? They shouldn't, okay? So when Darcy has regular eyebrows, she looks cute. Her hair was down, she looked cute. So they were talking to the camera, and what did Jessie say? She liked to be manipulative, or she needs to work on herself, and you know, all of this other shit that he was saying. And she's like, something, you know, they were so done with each other. Oh, he started crying, and she was like, you trying to play the victim. And it's just basically like, why in the hell did your ass come back, and why are you there? Like, what is the purpose? Neither one of y'all can be in a relationship with each other. So if both of y'all can't work, you need. Jesse over here talking about work on yourself. My guy, look in the mirror. Family, my guy, look in the mirror, okay? I know you didn't slick that hair back and put a bobby pin right there, but look in the mirror, okay? Okay? Anyway, so Jesse says, I'm done. He leaves. And I thought when they said an hour later, that nigga done came back. But no, that nigga actually left. And Darcy was like, well, there's nothing to do. I might as well go home to my kids. You should have went home with your kids. You should have went home with your kids last night. Yeah. I don't get it. So maybe they have to show, you know, next episode, what's the name? Jesse has to go back to Amsterdam. So I don't care. Okay, so it is illusion to think that I would have married you. Now he didn't say that, but this nigga always be saying it is an illusion or it is craziness to think that I would do this shit. He don't want you. I don't know what Jesse want. I know, and I don't know what Darcy want, but I know what they shouldn't have, which is each other. Okay, moving on to Michael and Angela. They sitting down. Angela. Sorry. Angela's talking about the age difference. He's talking about having a kid. She's like, well, my age. He's like, well, there are ways to, you know, get around that. She's like, nigga. She didn't say nigga, obviously. Man, I ain't got $20,000 to be doing all of that. And he like, I know, baby. Then she calls her daughter, and her daughter is like, you sure he not scamming other women? And she said, he ain't scamming nobody else. And I said, is he scamming you? Because those are really like weird words to say. Like, someone, I won't reveal the source, but I remember hearing a story in my family where the lady said to the other lady, you trying to kill your mother. And the lady said back to her, well, you trying to kill your mother too. And you know, you just don't say things like that because that's not what, you know, you're supposed to say. So Angela then reveals that there's something that she hasn't said. That she hasn't said, that Michael has done, that she hasn't let known. And I wanted her to say it, but obviously they didn't say it. They're keeping it for next week, hopefully, this next week because I want to know what that man's did. What big homie did, okay? So, is that it? That's their whole story. I think this happened this episode. Oh my gosh. She asked him why he had like oh yeah, he had like 1,000 girls on his social media or something. And she like, what are you doing, masturbating to him? And he like, no, hell no. And and she just like, this was going on when I was in the States, and now it's going on now, and I just don't understand it. And I guess, that's when she was talking about the secret, which I guess the secret is probably he cheated on her. Because how you don't really cheat on somebody who's halfway, over there, up, up there. Like you don't, whatever. So I think that's the end of their story. Moving on to Tariq and Hazel. So after Dean questioned her character as a mother and made her cry, um, they just what happened? Oh, that's what that nigga said. He said that the ex that Hazel has clothes the her clothes at the house is a different ex than the father of her child, and that threw me for a loop. So the night that they came back, Hazel didn't really want to talk. She told the camera that she felt that Dean put doubts in Tariq's head, which he did. He was then questioning why her clothes and stuff were there. She then tells him that she keeps in contact with her ex because he has her bed and he has her wardrobe. And he said that, or he promised that he would pay for it. And he still owes her like 4,000 currency of her country. And Tarika's like, if you need that money, I can give it to you. It's not that big of a deal. I just don't want you to like have contact with him because that's a way for him to always have something to hold on to you. Okay. I'm really not feeling this whole dentistry thing. Okay. This is the second time I done went to the dentist in about a month, and I don't like it. I know, teeth supposed to be clean and shit, but anyway, so they go and they're about to meet Dean again. And Tariq is telling her, it's us. It's us against him, If he says anything, don't worry about it. I got your back, baby. So, and it was a lot of cultural eating. Actually, I'll say it now. Michael gave Angela a cow hoof with a cow leg inside of it, or some of the cow leg. Hazel wanted Tariq to eat an egg with a fully grown or almost grown duck inside, and like you eat it, just eat it. And yeah, that's it. That's all that I can remember. But and Hazel was like, you being dramatic. I'm really not being dramatic. That might be a delicacy, but it's just like I don't want to eat nothing with the fur. I eat some of the meats, okay, but I'm not trying to eat nothing with the feathers still on, okay? Excuse the fuck out of me. And put salt and vinegar in it. I was like, ugh, is you trying to kill it? I'm sorry. Anyway, so they go and they meet Baldhead Dean. And Dean is like, I'm just trying to look out for my brother. He a little bit up under the influence of who she is. And I'm just trying to help him out. Now, Dean did get out of pocket. Dean, they were trying to be cordial. Excuse me. And then Dean was like, we're going to talk about yesterday. Tariq is like, just stay out my damn business, okay? Dean then asks Hazel, are you going to be able to keep him satisfied bedroom wise? And I'm like, what the fuck? I was riding with Dean a little bit until that nigga said that. I'm like, you really have no respect for anyone, do you? Because that's some rude ass shit to say. Like, yeah, you asking questions about, her ex, how the validity of her relationship with your brother, all of those questions are valid. But as soon as you start talking about my puss and what my puss does, I'm like over it. So Tariq tells Dean to get the fuck out of there. Go on, get, scat, get, get. So he he gets, and they just spend the rest of the day together. Um, I'm trying to figure out if there is anything else to their story. If there is, I will come back to it when I remember, but probably won't. So I'll probably put it up under the bottom when I edit this. Okay, moving on to Rachel and John. Rachel is some kind of so they're walking through a field, you know. He's holding Lucy. They're talking. She's talking about how it's not fair. He says in his confessional, if I'm not able to get to if there's no way for me to get a visa to get to the United States, then our future is uncertain. Well, baby boy, I think unless there's like a loophole or unless there's a certain amount of time that you have to wait, maybe like 7 years until like, you know, your shit is off your record or some shit. I don't know. Okay. But what I'm telling you is, my guy, as it's looking now, you won't be able to move there. She says she's not able to move there because she shares custody with her of her 11-year-old daughter with her daughter's father, her baby daddy. Um, and I'm like, well, you know, you got two things. You can either wait till she turn 18 if you really love this nigga, or you can just give up your daughter, you know. Some women do it. You don't know. Just to be with a nigga. Not because they can't give their children a better life, in the words of Hazel. No, just to be with a nigga, you know. So if you want to do that, do it. I'm going to judge you for it, but, you know, do it. Anyway, so she's like, it's just not fair. You know, you have to promise me that you're not going to fight anymore. Lucy's just grown really accustomed to you, and it's just going to be really hard going back, you know, without you. Someone who can help with the baby, you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, first of all, let me just tell you this right now. I can't understand half of the words that John say. He said, I will alone you. That's exactly what that nigga said. Now, I rewound that shit at least 3 times. And I finally heard him say, I would give up everything for you. And I was like, damn, it took me that long to know what Big Homie said. She started crying immediately. And I was like, did you hear what he said? Or you was just like, okay. Because I ain't never going to understand this man. I didn't start going with mush mouth. And I can't turn back. I told my husband he got that crime spirit on him, okay? He got that fighting spirit. In the words of William G. McCrae, he got that fighting spirit.
He should have threw that nigga in the floor and demanded them demons to come out of him.
So, what happens? So, I think they're in a cafe, next scene. And they are going to meet her father. So they call her father. The father asks, what's up with you guys? And he like, yeah, I know you want to know about my criminal record. Well, nigga, I was going to lead up to it. You know, I was going to say, hi, how are you doing? Now, one thing that I didn't like is that man did not open up his mouth and speak to the man first. I think all about, especially since you're a criminal. You're criminal, okay? Can't let a criminal into our country. We have too many of our own, okay? We can't. We don't know what type of man he is. He could start punching babies on the street. Anyway, so he's like, I'm a changed man. I can't remember what that nigga said, but he said something. I'm a changed man, and Rachel's father was like, I mean, unless, you know, it's basically like a life or death situation or somebody is like antagonizing you, I would just like walk away or like try to talk my way out of it. And I'm like, that's not the type of person John is. John told her that's not the type of person he is. It seemed like when trouble come to him, he say, fight me, bitch. So, you know, you gotta watch out for that shit. So, before they call the father, she says, you know, my father wanted me to come here and find out more about him. Tell me what more of John you found out. Because you knew that he had some convictions. He really didn't tell you all when it came to the this college conviction. I really don't feel like I don't know if he ever told you how many years specifically it's been since he's committed a crime or since he's been uh found guilty of a crime. Like I don't he said a few years and you never figured out what a few was. I just don't know if this man's is being honest. Okay? Okay? Man's lying. Okay, he not lying. He just, you know, not telling the truth, and that's lying by omission, and that's still you can still be guilty. Shout out to my mama. Okay, so let me see. What we doing up in here? Who we going to next? Or do they say more? Do they say more? Oh, they do say more. So then she's like, I have to leave in a few days, and I just really wouldn't. I really think that we've grown together well, and I wouldn't I'll be shocked if I didn't leave this place without a ring. So they go to this castle. It's all nice and everything. He's always holding on to Lucy, which I can hold on to my own baby. And you know, then at the end, he pops the question. She's crying, you know. He's like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You know, in the back of your mind, well, I'm sorry, in the front of my mind, I don't know if it's in the back of your mind. How y'all people gonna be together? You can't move to London, England, wherever the fuck this nigga, United Kingdom, and he can't move. This nigga can't even step foot in the United States. So what's really gonna happen? Okay, how can you guys be engaged? Okay, in the next episode we see the truth. Okay, now everybody's been telling you about how this nigga is a jackrabbit who gets around. Okay, when it comes to the intercourse. Okay, so he's like, what he said, what's an open relationship? You know, what is it when you've had two of those? Is my eyebrow going for real? Oh, I guess it is. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know when it went away, but from here it still looked like I got an eyebrow, so it's fine. And Rachel like, I don't know if he's gonna be faithful when I leave. Girl, you should be asking, was he faithful when you weren't there? Okay? Okay? Oh damn, I forgot to make Darcy's ugly face. Hold on. I just don't understand. Okay, I'm gonna insert that early. So moving on to the happy couple, Paul and Karine. So this is Paul and Karine's wedding day, or leading up to the wedding. Paul, however, says that since meeting with her mother, Karine has been distant, and he doesn't understand why. Karine wakes up looking like never mind, no comment. But someone in the comments did say somebody buy Karine a comb, and I won't say anything else. Okay. Anyway, she's acting a little bit distant. You know, Paul doesn't know why, and but Karine still wants to get married. Okay, I don't understand why you still want to get married. I don't understand why you have sat up here and dealt with serial killer Paul, allegedly, and he done did all this shit, and he didn't like, you know, just acted, just he done turned your back on he done turned his back on you. he didn't yelled at you and shit. You know, all he's controlling, all the stuff that you say that this man does. And you said it to your parents. You were having doubts, and then you said it again, and now, but you're still getting married. You're still moving on. Okay. So I think after that is their wedding day. I'm sorry. Karini is getting made up. She looks very, very cute. Karini looks really, really cute. Okay, I know my hair's like that. Please don't say anything. She looked really, really cute because Karini, bitch, I ain't no spring chicken. Okay, I ain't no hot chicken. Okay, but one thing I do know is that Karini be looking sometimes just smacked. Oh, anyway, I'm sorry, but she looked really, really nice. Now, while she was getting dressed, she was telling her mother, you know, I don't know, I'm really having doubts. You're about to walk down the aisle, well, the short hallway, and you are still having doubts. So her mother is just like on the verge of tears the entire time. You can clearly tell because her mother is like, she keep telling me that she don't want to marry this nigga, yet she's getting ready to marry this nigga. I just want my daughter to be safe, okay? Now, did y'all see the mama's hair? Who did that mama's hair? Cause I ain't do shit to her, but looking like a cow and licked you. Anyway, the mother look that hair. Oh, I guess the person who did the mother's makeup focused the mother's hair focused everything she had on Karini and said, "Get what you get." Okay, that's exactly what she did. She didn't even look at it. There, you're done. That's as good as it's gonna get. So Paul is waiting for Karini, and I don't know how long it took in real time, but it took a minute for her to come out, and then she came out, and they got married, and they lived happily ever after until the next episode when Karini says, "Go fuck yourself," and I was like, Karini, you guys are newlyweds. I want to divorce you, Paul. Can you even get a divorce this fast? Y'all niggas about to get an annulment. How you been married for a day? Probably 2 days. And you like, fuck you, man. That's deep. Deep. Okay. Now we get to talk about Rickland. Icky Ricky. Okay? Icky motherfucking Ricky. Because I was rocking with Ricky, okay? But Ricky's a bitch. A bitch. Okay, a bitch. That nigga. So, Jimena. Okay, I remember. Jimena had the intercourse with him last night, okay? What did he call Jimena while they was Melissa? I gotta tell her who Melissa is. This nigga lied and said Melissa was somebody on the production team. That don't answer none of my questions. Why are you thinking about somebody on the production team while we are having the sex? Hmm? So that nigga didn't tell her. But he's talking about how much of a gentleman he is. But this nigga falling in love with her, obviously. And I'm like, you just a falling ass nigga, ain't you? Ain't you? You done fell for Melissa, and now you just met Jimena, and you falling for her too. So they go out, and they having a good time. She kissing all on him. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. She actually went out with him. Okay, they're kissing. He taking pictures of her. She's giving him advice. They high fiving and shit. So then they go sit down, and he's like, "I want to be with you for you, and I want you to be with me for me." Um, I don't want you to be with me for the money. And she looked at him and he was like, you told me that you got a nose job. Like, how did you afford that? And she was like, first off, she shouldn't have had to say anything to that nigga. She was like, welp. Welp. I got into an accident. I think she said she broke her nose or something happened with her nose. She wasn't able to breathe right. Um, so her insurance said that they would cover some of it or half of it, and she paid the other half with the money that she had, and she took advantage of it, and it was an aesthetic thing for her as well. And so he was like, so what did you do with the money that I sent you? Because Jimena doesn't have a job. And he said she didn't directly ask for money, but she hinted that you wanted things and that I could get her things, or that she needed things but she didn't have a job. And I'm like, nigga, it's not my fault she looked and found Boo Boo the fool. Like, if somebody is hinting, excuse me, if somebody is hinting towards something, they can't do anything if you act like you can't pick up the hint. Somebody winking, you just look at them and be like, huh? Oh, well, I hope you find a way to get that. Come on, you can play that shit off, nigga. You just want to look like Boo Boo the fool. It's not my fault that you want to look like that, okay? 2 Colombian women have played your ass. Well, we don't know if Jimena's gonna play his ass. But, well, I don't know, because Jimena did say, I never wanted to get married or have children until I met Ricky on the dating app. I just wanted to work, and I'll make it work so we can have a future in the United States. And I was like, can we have a future here in Colombia? Or is it just in the United States? Anyway, so he's like, what did you do with the money that I sent you? And I said, you're not about to fucking ask me what the fuck I did with the money you sent me. Okay? Okay? You didn't give me a constraint on what to do with that money. You didn't tell me what I had to do with that money or what I needed to do with that money. It wasn't like a condition that if you gave me this money, I had to do A, B, and C with it. She like, I went to go visit my sister. I bought my nephew some stuff, and he was like, okay, I see that you're upset. Obviously, because you called her another woman's name, and you haven't even told her that you was here to see Melissa. Yet you questioning this girl. You didn't even question Melissa. You was so wrapped around her boobs and her braces that you didn't even fucking say nothing. Anyway, so they go out again, and he is supposed to tell her finally that who Melissa is. And they're sitting down. He's like, my ex called me. Is that okay if we communicate? She's like, yeah, it's fine. I know you got a family, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you just a cowardly ass nigga, ain't you? You look in the mirror and see Courage the Cowardly Dog, don't you? Courage had more courage than your ass, nigga. The fuck? I just couldn't tell her. I know you couldn't tell her. But you gonna keep letting her kiss on you and keep letting her do whatever y'all was doing. But you can't open up your mouth and tell her that you didn't come to see her. And that she's a second option, a second choice. Anyway, so you can tell, like, because in the next episode, I think he's going to tell her. And he was like, I want to be with you. And she like, but what? Like, she done got fed up with this nigga in how many days? 2 days or 3 days? In 2 days. The next episode will be the 3rd day, and she done got fed up with this nigga. He talking about, I'm falling in love. I'm looking, I have 2 daughters, blah, blah, blah. What, you gonna bring her home and try to have her raise your kids like you did Melissa? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Why are you trying to look for somebody to raise your damn kids? Raise your own kids. Why are all of these people who have children trying to look for someone to raise their children? Raise your own fucking kids, man. Anyway, let's see if I'm done. I went in the order that it was on the TV. I talked about Darcy and Jesse. I talked about Michael and Angela. I talked about Rachel and John. I talked about Tariq and Hazel. I talked about Paul and Karini. And I talked about Ricky. Ricky Spanish. And I think that I'm done. Anything that I've missed, I will surely put it right here, because I do be forgetting, okay? I do be forget. If you like this review, please comment, subscribe, and thumbs it up. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next review of this beautiful, beautiful show. Okay. As for my missing eyebrow, it just had some place to be, so I let it go where it needed to go. Maybe in the next video it will return, but I don't think it will. So